Let's talk about MSF. Let's talk about all of us. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things Copley does. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like and subscribe.
What's going on, everybody? It is time for another edition, a very special edition of Let's Talk About It. It is our Valentine's Day special. Joining us today are couples of MSF, or two couples of MSF. We've got RunSeven and Way Too Raw joining us, as well as Visara and the phenomenal Sable. And I give a special title to Sable because literally none of this would exist without her. And not just for myself, but for a number of content creators out there. Sable is so kind and so generous to give introductions like the one you just watched before this, this entire set and setup, as well as so much more. I'm so appreciative each and every day. I try to tell her how important she is to me as much as I possibly can, but it'll never be enough. So, anywho, now that I've embarrassed her, so welcome everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Doing well.
We're
Nice.
doing good. Yeah.
Heck yeah. What about you, Run? You look super happy to be here.
I'm great.
So,
I fought with my kids all afternoon tonight trying to make time for this segment, so I'm pretty wore out. It's too late for me to start drinking coffee and get all pepped up again.
Yeah.
No, that's it's cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your Saturday evening, especially once you finally got the kids to bed. Where I imagine normally this is just unwinding, full Al Bundy, hands in the pants, clicking through.
If pants at all.
Yeah. This is technically a no pants stream as well, right?
I am actually wearing pants. I'm not just wearing a t-shirt. This is not the usual, but this is it's a special day. And I didn't want to be sitting here in my undies with two other couples. This isn't there's no flamingos on this stream. Well, I don't know. That's up to y'all to share if you want to. Anywho, moving along. So you guys. So we'll start off with Visara and Sable. So y'all have been playing Marvel Strike Force. Were y'all beta? Were y'all day one? I know y'all been playing a long time.
You were before me, right, wife?
Just about 1681, I think, days played.
Yeah. And then I started shortly thereafter her, because her and my oldest son were playing. And then I stopped playing because I already had 4 other games that I was playing. And then came back to it like 2 months later.
That's crazy. So like half of your family played the game and still do. And I find that amazing. And so is it something where do you find yourselves talking about the game a lot, like off, when you're not in various people's streams and not sitting there playing through the game itself? Is that like a conversation piece at the dinner table?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the car, hot tub, lying in bed, watching TV shows, frustrated with people that aren't doing the raid lanes, not attacking in war. Not spending ISO energy for these stupid events. Yeah.
But overall, obviously, I know Visara loves it because he's got 17 different accounts that he plays. The Sable, or are you playing because you enjoy, or are you playing because it just you feel like you have to stick around? Because I mean, you're a family with so many different members of this community. So is it the community that keeps you playing, or do you genuinely love the game?
I don't know. I'm really torn right now about it because I started playing this game because it helped with my anxiety. So when I was out and about, I can get on the game. I could blitz. I could do a war attack. It gave me something to focus on. But more and more, it's just like, Scopely, what are you doing? I used to love this game. And now I dread logging on, but I stay because it's like, okay, what can I do today to beat Scopely at their own game? You know, I hoard cores so then I can core characters so I don't have to buy them. And then, you know, I love the community, so it just kind of keeps me in and keeps me playing it.
Well, we're happy.
We
that
still
y'all
have
are
some
still here.
people in our alliance that we've had since like day when we were here. We have this guy Bob White Fox, like that have been there with us from pretty much the very beginning, and then we've had a lot of people like Zoomy and Dead Eyes and some other guys that came along shortly thereafter, and yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, shoot, we've known these people for what 4.5 years now, and
Yeah.
chat with them. Like, we get on and they ask how our kids are, and you know, how's this break? Is he healing okay? Like, how are you doing today? Like, you know, like just it's kind of cool. And then we'll be like, you know, like, how's that raccoon you found? Like, you know, like little things like that. It's like it's fun little things. So yeah, fun little stories that you talk about. You know.
So what about you guys? What about Way Too Raw and Run? You know, so did both of y'all start playing at the same time? Who picked it up first?
I was the first one to start playing. I was back. I don't know how many days I'm in, but it's back when Asteroid M first came around, and Captain Marvel was kind of the hot character at the time. I think it's about 1,400 days. I don't know. So I started playing, and I started my own alliance, and I had a close-knit group of friends in there. And of course, at the time, I was having a lot of fun playing the game, but it's a lot of screen time, and I was running my own company, and I have kids, and you know, my wife was doing her own thing, and it was a lot. And that was really stressful, and I almost ended up quitting the game back then. Ended up leaving the alliance, went to a really just a chill alliance, and then come to find out, my wife has been playing the game behind my back, not even realize she was playing it. Like one day, she's just like, "So, what's the ISO for Wolverine?" And I was like, "What?" And it blew me away. And she just enjoyed the community of the stream and the chat and everything so much that she wanted to get involved, and so she had started playing, and then she jumped into her own alliance, and we stay out of each other's alliances on purpose so that we have things to talk about, and we have our own social groups too.
Yeah.
Because now that I don't have my company anymore and I'm just a stay-at-home dad, I have a lot more free time, and I don't have any friends since we moved to Texas, and so this is my social life. But we also want to have things to talk about, because if you live and work together and do everything all the time together, there's not much really left to talk about. But she's got stories coming from her friends in her alliance, and I've got stories on my side too, so it's great. But she's, you know, she can tell you about how she started playing the game, because I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, so it was like COVID time, you know, had hit, and I was stuck at home with my two beautiful boys, but that's a lot. And his alliance, he played with his best friend, his real life best friend that lived up the street, and they would always come over and they would talk about this game for freaking hours on end. I had no idea what was going on. And then he started streaming, and I wanted to support him. I had never been on Twitch before, so I created everything to come and support him streaming this game that I didn't play. But he talked about it 24/7, and he was constantly on it, and it was probably going to become a really big sore spot in our marriage, because he's like, I gotta do one more battle, I gotta do this real quick, and I'm like, get the the game. Like, I don't
understand back then.
And so I was like, it was COVID time, my school was closed, and I was like, I have all this free time on my hand. We used to play video games together, and we had a lot of fun, so I decided to start one up and see if I even liked it before I said anything to him. And yeah, I'm only like 700 days in. I'm still newer compared to, I think, everyone here.
So it's sort of crazy that 700 days into playing a game is looked at as new.
And at 700 days, her alliance is doing 3.5, where we're pushing into 3.4.
There's no sense.
And so it is kind of weird how you think of that as newer to the game or something like that. But
yeah,
It just shows that if you're savvy, you can get to the end game content real fast and start doing some really amazing things in the game.
So when you started playing the game, at what point were you? So at what point did you go, oh yeah, I see why he's obsessed, like or do you still question that?
I think it was the community, honestly, that like brought me in, because I joined before I even played the game. I joined his alliance's Discord and hung out in there so that I could get on and talk on stream and stuff, and it was just easier. And yeah, it was just the community. I love the community. His alliance, like his first stream, they all showed up for him. They're the ones who encouraged him to start streaming, and it was really cool to see. Especially during lockdown, I feel like that definitely had a huge impact on us. I feel like it had on everyone, and that's having them all be tight-knit because everybody's stuck at home. Probably wouldn't have happened if everyone was out at their jobs.
I made the joke that she's the communications manager for everything I do, because she's in talking to people more. Like, I turn off notifications for everything because I can become so obsessed with a thing that it can destroy me. So I turn off all my notifications. And so she'll be like, hey, so-and-so pinged you in Discord, be sure to check it out. And she's communicating with people, and she's, gathering all these questions and answers and replies and connecting dots for me and all that stuff all the time. And it's been fantastic. And I would just like to say that she has been my number one supporter in my journey through content creation and stuff like that. And it has blown me away how much she's pushed me. There have been times when I was like, maybe I should just back off. Maybe this isn't for me or whatever. And she's like, suck it up. Quit being a pansy and get back in there, And I'm like, really? Coming from you? Like, you would just expect, the cliche of, a guy playing video games and his wife is like, oh my gosh, are you ever going to get away from that? And she's been really supporting me and helping me go through this.
That's awesome. So, now, question for both of you. Not both of you, but both couples. So, as we've gone through this, there's been a lot of crazy. Like, what's the wildest? I don't want to say memory. What's the most emotion that you've felt about the game since you've played? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about the game. It could be about a streamer. It could be about the YouTube videos or whatever. There has to have been something that comes to mind that you were super passionate about at the time, because this is a very passionate community. And I imagine there's a lot of things that come to mind, but is there one that stands out more than the rest?
I have one that stands out to me, but it wasn't happened to me. So we were watching Rem's stream back in the day, and wife got pulled for the $50 gift card thing that she turned around and got Emma with, and that was our first paid unlock. It was like that back in the day. It was Emma, right? Was it Emma or Antivenom?
It's Emma.
That's a good unlock right there. That's
and so that's why she started going ham on Marauders, was because of that. And then she was the first one in our alliance to have over a 1 million powered team on defense. And yeah, those kind of things were pretty cool.
I remember when Death Pool came out and Run was still a spender. And one reason I was free to play is because my husband had mailed his wallet to Scopely long before I started the game. So I didn't feel the need. And I'm also very competitive, and I was like, I want to see what I'm going to do on my own. And Death Pool came out, and the event came and went, and he came in, and he's like, how many stars? Was it 5 stars you got her to? And he was so excited. He bought offers. He got her to 5 stars. And I just turned my phone around, and I was like, me too. free to play. I had the same exact tune as him, and that was one of my favorite moments.
Nice.
And that's when I learned I was better at playing the game than my husband.
So for me, the most emotional period I ever felt, and this includes Raw also, is because when I came to that point when I realized I was pushing myself too hard and I had too much going on both in the game and in real life, and I had to step down as alliance leader from the alliance that I built from scratch from when I very first started the game, like 15, as soon as I knew I wanted to play Marvel Strike Force, enjoyed the game and was going to go for it, I said, I'm going to start my own alliance. Mostly because all the ones you get thrown into were no good.
Yeah.
And I built my own alliance, had a lot of really close people in it, and they were very supportive of me and streaming and everything else. And I came to the point when I had to step down as alliance leader, and I knew that it could shatter the alliance.
Yeah.
I knew it was at a frail point. There were some big people that were pushing and wanted to move on, and I knew if I stepped down, it could all fall apart. And I saw the whole thing, me leaving the game, me quitting streaming, everything. It felt like it was all going to come apart. And I stepped down. I was very emotional about it. And I was like, what the hell? This is a video game.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Why am I this upset over it? And my wife was there to support me and say, you've got to do what you got to do. Yeah. She tried to guide me through it. It was an ugly affair because there was, you change who's going to be the take over the reins of it. Ultimately, the alliance did break up. It lasted a lot longer than we thought, but ultimately the alliance did break up, and I moved on. And since then, I have realized that it is not my alliance. It is a space I rent from Scopely with other people who are also renting space there. And I know that I can find those people on Discord. I can find them through the in-game chat system and message, whatever. I don't have to be in the same alliance as anybody, so I am no longer quite so attached to my alliance. But that was crazy how emotional I became and attached to those people and felt responsible for them and felt like I was letting them down because I was mentally having a breakdown. I was breaking out in hives. It was really ugly, the stress from it all.
No, I can.
Amount of screen time.
Yeah, I can relate like with that 1,000%. I'm literally going through it right now. So I'm changing alliances. I'm in the middle of changing alliances for the first time in a couple of years. I'm in my second alliance from what I initially started with, and I've been with these guys for a long time, and in particular, there's a few people that I've gotten just super duper close to in that time that I consider some of my best friends, and I know that might sound crazy that I've got best friends from a online mobile game, but I have, and part of that is the pandemic and sort of meeting these people and, spending more time with them than I was my partner. And, on Monday when it sort of dawned on me, like it's about to happen. And, one of them, Theezy, was in chat and said something, and I just started crying on camera. I'm like, I can't do this right now. Like it was tough because I'm leaving people that I care deeply about, and I'm leaving for reasons. Obviously, there has to be reasons, right? But at the same time, it doesn't make it easy, and I can only imagine that was your baby, that was your alliance. You put a lot of time and effort into that, and then develop those friendships as well, and. That's why I want nothing to do with leadership. That's always been my one thing. Like if you tag me as a captain, I'm quitting.
Yeah, I've told every alliance I've gone into since. I said if you even offer me a captaincy or some sort of leadership role or something, I will bounce out of here. Don't even try it. Yeah. I don't want that. I did that. By the way, thank your alliance leaders. Thank your captains. They are working so hard, and you don't deserve them. They are working very hard for you to try and organize your alliance, especially if your alliance has 24 people in it. They're doing a fantastic job.
Well, this guy up here, so Visara's a cluster leader.
Right, taking it to the next level.
Oh my God.
I've got 8, and I'm helping other people all the time too. Like I was telling, who was it? It was Krabby, Chubby, something like that. Tubby. He's in chat earlier. I was like, yeah, I'll help you. Like try to find somebody else. Like that's not a problem. I'm already helped a couple of people. Like I helped Dr. D.
Yeah.
As well. Like you're gonna have on here soon. I help her find people and help one SpongeBob Alliance. SpongeBob Cheese Pants, I think is what it's called. Yeah, help them do theirs. So yeah, there's like all kinds of ones. I'm constantly recruiting. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's Sable. What about you? We didn't get your story. Is there a story other than Emma that stands out to you in particular?
The race for DD4
Okay.
between me and Viz. He started 3 months before me. I got so much crap for taking Sabretooth in, which he did amazing for me. So did Mom. Kept the symbiotes alive. And I beat it 24 hours before he did.
Let's
He beat it the next
go.
morning.
Yes.
The first in the Alliance, or third, I think, in the Alliance to have Dormammu.
Oh, you were the second. You're right behind Deadeyes.
It's awesome.
And I thought for sure he was going to beat me that time because he beat me in DD3.
You know how bad I wanted to core those last couple nodes just to do it? I was like, there's no way. I'm like, you know what? No, she's earned this. Like, let's just do this fair. And then she beat me. And I was like, damn it, I should have cored.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, what we found out is that the women of MSF are superior players. Is basically the moral of this story.
Man, her teams are so freaking thick, though, dude. It's insane. Like, I don't know. Like, I build wide. Like, I like a wide roster, and hers is like almost as wide of a roster as mine is. But her top end are like so much heavier. Like, you've seen her Sabretooth. It's insane. And like, she has so many other tunes like that too. And it's like, I don't know how you did that and still have resources. And we don't spend. Like I said, the only thing that I buy is the release characters. Those opening packs, and she'll buy one every once in a while, but I don't think you haven't got one of those in what, like 3-4 months at least. So like we don't spend money on the game.
Long time.
And she's crazy. Like she's got tunes at like a bunch of tunes at 17 already. I'm like, holy crap.
Well, so I'm curious about that. So you've never really considered yourself a spender. You would buy the one character unlock pack when those characters would come out. And they've really changed that, right? So now those character unlock packs aren't what they used to be. Used to be you get like enough characters and enough orbs and should be enough to unlock. Are you struggling to do those unlocks the way that the characters are being released now?
Well, I'm having to change. If I'm going to stop buying the character release packs, then I'm going to have to change the way that I play overall, because the way that she plays is the way that I'll have to play. Where she doesn't do the 50 core refreshes for energy. You know, she just does the daily 600 and does it when it comes up. She spins it. Yeah. And then she has a shit ton of freaking power cores left over to be able to core these tunes when they come out. But I don't. I spin my power cores. I do the 50 refreshes. You know, I do all the ISO refreshes as well. And sometimes the hundreds. And then I don't have the power cores to be able to do that. So, yeah, I'll have to change up the way I play.
But, Sable, do you have the gold and the training mats to push the characters to higher levels because you're not farming those nodes to get more gold?
No. I'm a hoarder, so I have like 130 gold orbs hoarded and I think 45 training mat orbs. But I do say, I'm out of gold. And he's like, just open an orb. I'm like, but I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. She needs to be on an episode of Hoarders with all the orbs that she's got flashing around in her screens. It's crazy.
So with the hoarding events that have come out, or the anti-hoarding events that have been coming out, so what was your response to that? Did you just sort of match what your alliance did as you went through that?
Yeah. And then I spent a little bit more and then was mad that somebody only opened 3 gold orbs, and then right after the event was over, they opened 20.
Oh.
I'm like, are you serious? I opened 45 of my gold orbs.
Yeah, we'll have an opening After
Yeah.
our coordinated assault is over, just in case people are curious.
Wow, I felt ridiculous. I opened over 300 gold orbs
Yeah.
for
And
that
she still
event.
has half her stash.
I still have over 300, yeah.
You
Nice.
opened 300 and you still have 300?
Yeah, I'm also a hoarder. My name is Ron. It's nice to meet you.
Yep.
So what about you, Run? So you're in a similar boat to Vis, right? Like you cut down your spending pretty dramatically.
Yeah, as when we moved, I sold everything, and so I don't have a job. I don't have income. Neither of us do right now. And so with that realization, I used to make money so I could spend money, and and it was fine. Now I don't make any money, so I don't spend any money. I am free to play, and that's not anything. It's not some sort of retaliation against Scopely or some sort of revolt or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just a rational decision that people should make with their income versus expenses. And so if I do go back to work, I don't actually think I'm gonna start spending again. I really enjoy being free to play now. It forces me to up my game and not rely on my wallet. I'm
Yeah.
actually scared about this, MOE is going to unlock the next legendary. And I'm like, this might be the first legendary I miss on the first pass. And it kind of scares me. And I'm like, I'm going to have to look over the spreadsheets. I'm going to have to plan this out. I'm going to have to figure out how to push hard if I want to get this legendary, because I don't want to miss out. Now, there's no shame in that. But I like to play with my toys as soon as possible. That's why I bought character release packs when they would come out, because I wanted to play it,
Yeah. Yeah, you want
Well,
absolutely.
I
You
would
don't-
buy 'em
Nobody
'cause,
wants to
like-
look at the toy that's available. They want to
Right.
play with
As an alliance leader, especially, like, you want to tell the other people in your alliance, hey, this is what I'm seeing so far with this tune. So
Absolutely.
kinda
And as a
need to
content
do
creator,
that.
I want to be able to speak with authority when I talk about characters, and I
Right.
don't have the ability to play them anymore. And so that's why a lot of my content relies on showing people, hey, this person's talking about the team, this person's talking about this character. Go check them out, because they have the authority to talk about these. They are experiencing them firsthand and can give you the good advice. And I can't do that. I have to wait for them to come out. And then once the characters come out, like my Rebirth team is sitting at the bottom of my roster because I don't need them right now. And so people ask me questions about Rebirth. I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what ISO to put on Peggy Carter because I'm not using her. And frankly, as a free-to-play player, I have to pick and choose what teams I'm going to go hard for and what teams I'm going to skip. And like Sable and like Raw, they put all of their resources into the most powerful, best place you possibly can, and then they can do amazing things with their roster. Whereas Viz and I, we like to play with all of them. We like a wide roster, and it might not be as effective.
Well, she'll be like in war, like, hey, who'd you use to beat this person? I'm like, oh, I used A4. She's like, I don't have A4, so I only like 3.
Right.
Like, we'll
Rob's
work harder.
the same way.
Yeah, no, that's and not just that, but when new characters came out, I remember there were some characters that I would build up significantly, and then there were some characters that I wouldn't put a whole lot into. And the way characters are released now, it's sort of like, you go all in on all of them, or you go partially in on all of them. Like if having them drastically different sizes, it just doesn't work anymore. They got to sort of all work together, or they don't work at all.
Honest, Rebirth is the first team that I haven't brought to 75 immediately. I still have them sitting at, like, I think 50 on all accounts except for one. I have all at 1, and another account I have 65 because I want to try them out in Doom 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the first team that I've not brought to 75 on release. And it feels weird, but like Ren said, I don't need them. I got Web Warriors. I don't need them right now. And we're not going to be doing anything but 3.1. Like, we're a 3.1 and chill alliance. We're not pushing for crazy end of game content that makes people frustrated and stressed out every day. Not worth it.
Yeah. So what's the one thing about the game that you most enjoy?
Talking shit. Being honest, 100%.
Yeah. Like, so to alliance mates or?
Yeah, well, I mean that. Yes, I talk a lot of shit in my alliance, and they throw it right back at me. I just had them all teaching me how to pull out correctly because I didn't exit a war match fast enough. So,
Wow.
yeah, we're good like that. So, but I talk shit with Run. We're very competitive against each other. We videoed racing through DD5, and that was probably one of my funnest days playing this game. Was racing with him through the content.
I'm just trying to figure out the conversation. Like, how does somebody approach you, advising you that your pullout game is weak? That seems like a Goofy Rexy conversation.
It's her alliance has no trouble throwing trash talk around. It's they're all good people. She found an alliance that she fits in with well.
Yeah.
They have the same type of humor and they get along great. And that's when this game really feels the best. When you find a place you fit in well. You get in with a good alliance, you fit in well, you're one of the middle people in all the rankings. You tell the same jokes, no one offends you, no one bothers you.
Yeah.
You know, we all have that one person in our alliance that stresses you out because they forget to do their attacks or you're waiting on them to finish a lane or something like that. But, you know, that's just part of the game, and the rest of the alliance is all complaining about that one person together. So that's when the game really feels good, is when you mesh with all your friends. And that's the kind of environment that Scopely needs to kind of nurture and grow so that this game can get better, because this game is really about the community. Not a lot of it has changed over the years. It's kind of the same thing, rinse and repeat. We've gone from mythic legendaries to this apocalypse path, but that's like the biggest change we've had. It's not like we have any kind of real new game modes going on. So it's the community and what the community does for fun that really gets this game going and growing. And the experience of competing with my wife, who plays this game so drastically different than I do, that's been very fun for us, because she'll say, like Viz was saying, who do you beat in this war team? And I would tell her, A-Force, and she's like, I don't have half that team. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you would do with it, because this is what I always do. I just use this cookie cutter team. And she's like, well, I'm going to pick these 5 random tunes that I would think would never work.
She beats it.
And she beats it.
That's the wife, too. She does the same damn thing, and it pisses me off. It's like Surfer Doom. Like, okay, I get that part, but then, like, random Minerva and some random, like, yeah, it worked fine. I beat it. I didn't expect it.
Exactly.
Like, you what? You punched up on who with that? Like, yeah, no, it's crazy. I agree, dude. Absolutely.
So what about you, Run? What do you like about the game more than anything? What's the one thing about the game that you just love?
I like interacting with the community. I like it when people show up in my chat and I get to talk with them and have a good time. I like testing out silly, stupid stuff, the crazy ideas that everyone says isn't going to work, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work. I like to try that out. I like to test stuff out. I like to, I'm the guy that paid $50 for She-Hulk back in the day when she first came out, because I was dead sure that Scopely had a plan, and because why else would, because at the time the $50 releases were really expensive. That was kind of the upper thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would Scopely release her for $50? And it was because they knew that Krakens are going to buy her and everybody else isn't, and it doesn't matter what you spend on her. And so I got fooled by that and bought it. I like to test out the stupid ideas.
What about you, Vis? What's the one thing about the game that stands out that you just love?
Well, right now I'm loving that you're saving wife for last for this question. But I enjoy meeting new people is one thing, and so that's in life in general. And so being able to do that either via Discord or streams or in game or trying to help people like out that aren't even part of our alliance, and like, hey, like I can message you and help you with a roster review or something like that is always awesome. Like I love doing that. And then like with COVID and everything, how crazy it was. Like it was really nice having a family atmosphere. And we had that in the game, like I was talking about with Bob and White Fox and Zumi and AO, and we've got some other people that have been there like for a long time. JCap, which is in here all the time. So it's like those people like became part of the family, and so that was really neat. And then we had streamers like Sage and stuff, and then it like he kind of faded back, and then we met you, and you're fucking amazing. Sorry, that's gonna have to be beat for YouTube. I apologize, but but it's I mean it's worthy. It's worthy. It's an extenuation of a word because it's for a reason, and you are amazing. And having a community with I think pillars in the community like yourself, like Mobile Gamer, which is a great guy. Reminex, have found is a great guy. Valley seems like a pretty good guy. Never really met him very much or talked to him. So it's like, things like that. That part of the game is awesome that it has such a huge community, even though it's so niche, but it's once you found it, you're like, oh yeah, this is where I belong. This is great. So, yeah.
Yeah, and what about you, Sable? What's the one thing about the game that you just absolutely adore?
Having the biggest D in the alliance.
Let's go!
You've been waiting the whole time.
Is to have the biggest D on every single team.
Yes.
You're so happy.
Man, back when War started, I was MVP every time, and then Viz got picking up War, and I almost had it last War, and Uncle Bob came and swooped it out from under me.
Oh.
Like, he beat me by like 4 million damage points. It's like... But no, that's what I do. I build that D so nobody can get through it, and then my attacks, I can have fun and enjoy.
Dude, before
War.
they made the meta War offense, she was getting 23 to 30 defensive wins a single War. Like, it was ridiculous, and it was constant. It wasn't like, oh, you'd have a War, like, they'd get through. No. It never happened. They would just go around. They'd see your teams and be like, no, we're just going to go this way instead. And now that War offense has been the thing, like, it's different. But, yeah, she still does. Like, I mean, I know you're seeing some 2 millions, but when you're seeing her, like, 1.5 million Gamma sitting on defense and 1.5 Marauders sitting on defense, it's like, the hell are you doing? Like, yeah, she's got that. She's got the biggest D. There, I said it live. Like that.
All right. I'm curious, Ra, what would happen if because people in your alliance are twice your TCP size. So if somebody's looking and saying, oh, look, this player's like must be new to their alliance or something, or a filler character because they're half the TCP size, and they go into your defense thinking they can walk over it, and then there's a big old fat like Stormhold or something at 1.3 million at the back end of your defense, and they're like, what the hell? I'd be curious to see that.
I'm working on that. So I've actually only been War MVP once, and that was only because I was in Alliance by myself in the middle of looking for alliances. But I've always been the smallest. I think I just hit 13 million, and I have like 30 million, 20 plus million. I am the smallest by a huge margin. So I'm like flight deck 1. My first few teams are shield, but I do hide stuff in the back because I'm always left for last, and I hoped that they've exhausted their resources on the rest of my alliance. That's the best that I can do. But War was never my thing.
Raids. Yeah, she's into raids.
Yeah, and so as far as so we talked about what we love. What don't we love? What's the one thing that you wish was different about the game? We'll start with Sable this time.
Honestly, I hate Crucible.
Whoa!
I can't stand it because it's a one-on-one war, and I hate attacking in War. And even though I edit videos and I'll sit and watch Dorky do it, and I'm like, okay, now I can go do it, and then I totally space and forget. And so I'm just dropping down now, so then when that event starts, I can work my way back up.
What about you?
Sorry, Taco. I second that emotion. Crucible is probably my least favorite mode in the game right now. Because it's very cookie cutter. You're only going to see certain teams in certain rooms, and it's always going to be this. And if your team isn't built as high as theirs is, which now I'm going against people that are specifically building for Crucible,
Yeah.
And I don't. I build a wide roster. It's super hard for me to clear things.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm dropping down. I'm doing whatever. The other thing is people becoming toxic in alliances, and our main alliance is pretty good. Yeah, we had a little thing the other day, but we've always been good. But there's some alliances where you have some person become toxic, like they get tired of the game or they get tired of something, and they just start in chat like just complaining.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't like about the atmosphere at times, but usually
Yeah.
a little talking to or just give them the old kick is usually good enough. So. No, it wasn't a big deal in ours, Zimmy. It wasn't. I'm talking about other ones.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Well, I see in chat people are saying it's not free to play friendly, and I have to disagree. I think they're getting much better at allowing everybody to unlock characters at low stars.
Yeah.
And then, if you want them to be higher stars, you got to spend money, and I think that's how it should be. But so I do like Crucible. I see your guys' concerns with it being somewhat cookie cutter, but I think that balance of do I push defense versus offense, I enjoy that kind of thing. So I like that. What I really don't like about Marvel Strike Force right now is there is an intense amount of absolutely useless screen time.
Yeah.
Every time they have to add a sim button or an auto button to something, I think, why do we even have this in here then? What's the point? Other than just making us come back to click buttons like a monkey. It just feels dumb. What I want is good content that I can choose to do as much of it as I want. Endless content that I can go back with diminishing rewards the further you push, but I can continue to play it for as long as I feel that the rewards are still good enough to keep pushing. And then all the other stuff, I'd like it. Well, they don't need to remove it, but they did a good job with the Strike Pass where if you're logging in for 7 days, there's a whole bunch of the stuff that I don't have to do anymore, right? I don't have to do RTA anymore. I don't even remember where that button is because I never liked that game mode. I don't have to do it. It's not necessary. That's fine. I wish they would do that with Blitz. Now, I know there's a lot of people that do like Blitz, but for me, I'm simming it, and I'm simming 45 teams now, and it's just taking forever. It's just taking forever.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to go in and manually play 45 rotation, 45 teams just one time, but a good reason to go in there and actually play the game, not just hit buttons because I need to collect some arbitrary marker. I want to be able to play the game when I want to play the game and have a good reason to play the game and skip all this absolute nonsense of auto sim and skip. It just seems ridiculous. I was so happy when they came out with difficulty 0.4 and 0.5 in Gamma because I'm like, sweet, we can push into these and I don't have to sim anything anymore. I can play it and challenge myself. And a lot of people were complaining about the rewards, and I said, that's cool. The rewards aren't so great that if I can't get to 4.5, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to feel like I'm being left behind, and I can challenge myself to this new content. So I'm glad that they just dropped that on us, and I just want more good content and less crappy screen time.
I was that in particular, there was a lot of folks who were like, why didn't they put this in the blog? And I was like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
It's something to do.
Right. And I mean, yes, they could have made it a lot better on themselves had they given a few lines of dialogue to kind of say, hey, this is what we're thinking. We're throwing out these radical difficulties, and if you can't get to it, don't worry about it because it's just 1, 2, or 3 teal gear orbs. People want that, but that's not the bottleneck to Apocalypse. So it seemed like it was a good thing for everybody. And the community does tend to have this knee-jerk reaction to complain about everything when it comes out. And I think that this is a good change. So I want better screen time and less garbage screen time.
Yeah. What about you, Wei? What's the one thing that you'd like to see changed? Or that you just don't like?
Blitz to go away. It's completely useless in my opinion. I love the game otherwise. Yeah, there's a lot of screen time that could go down. But if you take Blitz away, that diminishes some screen time. So, there you go.
Yeah. Amen.
All right.
We have RTA. Why do we need Blitz too? It's just a repeat of the same thing.
And people say, well, why don't we just have a sim all button? At that point, why do we have the game mode?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole sim all button. I can't wrap my head around, like, why is the mode there if we're gonna click something that says sim all?
If you contemplate the sim all button, you might as well just get rid of it. I do agree.
Yeah.
I would love a boss battle for everyone in your alliance or everyone in your division to go after a boss battle, and the community comes together to try and beat it. Alliance boss, that would be cool. Or endless waves with rapidly diminishing rewards, so you can go on forever, but it gets to a point where you're just getting a few shards of a gold orb for every wave that you can beat.
Well,
so it's your choice of how far you want to push.
They should put a gold orb in every node of DDs and just let us redo it as many times as we want.
There you go, with a slider difficulty, so you can bump that up if you want. These these are simple ideas to make the game like endlessly fun, but they don't want to do that.
All I hear is bugs, bugs, bugs.
Hey, if we get a million gold orbs instead of one, I'm cool with that. Give us a million.
I know. I'm just playing.
I stand by it. You know, people think I'm crazy when I'm like, I don't care if there's bugs in the game. Like,
I don't either.
It's it's any game that's in active development is going to have bugs. Like anybody that says
none of us said that.
Yeah, if there's a game out there that doesn't have bugs, I say that whoever said that is a liar. Like it doesn't
or
exist.
Or it's such a simplistic game that nobody would want to play it anyways.
I was gonna say it's probably boring
to
play.
Okay, tic-tac-toe.
Especially if the bugs affect everyone equally, we're all dealing with the same issue, so it's not a big deal. Yeah. It's when there are glitches that are only known to a few that people can exploit to get radically improved rosters, radically improved scores. And then you've got people who are investing a lot of their money in it, and they're like, that's not cool. I just paid $500 to get here, and this guy over here, APK hacked his way up to the top, so... Yeah, I understand some of it, but yeah, most of the bugs, it's like, okay, the T-pose is hilarious, man. And when Goldgate happened and everybody's gold ticker just started going up exponentially, that was hilarious to me. That made content for days. You know, do you remember the snap? Everybody got demoted or kicked out of their alliance all of a sudden, and we're like, what the heck? That was hilarious stuff, and I think those things are fun, and we all get to experience it together.
Yeah, totally agree.
All right. Well, so I like to always end on something positive. So I probably should have done those two segments backwards. But the positivity that I'd like to end with is, you know, going back to what y'all talked about. I was actually this obviously, for those of you watching, none of this was planned other than the people being here. So the conversation just happened. And when we were talking about things that we loved, I feel like, you know, aside from Sable's Big D, everybody talked about community and love, and that's sort of where I want to go back to. And I can't stress enough, like the four of you have become such big parts of my life, and I love and appreciate y'all so much. And I'm so happy that y'all found one another and that y'all found me. I'm happy that I was able to, you know, have Visara on as my co-host for as long as he has been, and have Sable be the backbone of my channel practically, and to have made Raw into a streamer forcibly, and and to love and push RunSeven and his content as much as I possibly can, because I think he's one of the funniest humans on the planet. And I really appreciate y'all so much, and I love y'all, and thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you for having us on, Taco. You are a pillar of this community, and I'm so happy that I know you.
I appreciate that. All right, so epic closing.
Sorry, Run, but my wife's the best. I just want to let you know. We'll say that on YouTube, you know, just live. Everybody.
My wife buys me coffee mugs that compliment herself.
Nice. You go, Wade.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. All right, epic closing transition here. Here we go. Boop. Greatest show ever. Be sure to like and subscribe.